One of the things that we have gained from our westernized culture being based on Greco-Roman mindsets is that of competition. We spend hours watching teams compete and listening to various opponents compete verbally and debating. This should not be a part of the body of Messiah. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day 4 of Acharei after the death. This is after the death of Aaron's son, Nadav and Abihu. We are now in Leviticus or Vayikra chapter number 17. And as usual, let's begin with verse 1. It says, And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, This is the word which Yahweh has commanded, saying, Any man from the house of Israel who slays a bull or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or who slays it outside the camp, and does not bring it to the door of the tent of appointment to bring an offering to Yahweh before the dwelling place of Yahweh, blood guilt is reckoned to that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. In order that the children of Israel bring their slaughterings, which they slaughter in the open field, and they shall bring them to Yahweh at the door of the tent of appointment to the priest, and slaughter them as slaughterings of peace offerings to Yahweh. Slide down to verse 7. Let them no longer slaughter their slaughterings to demons, after whom they whored. This is a law forever for them throughout their generations. And say to them, Any man of the house of Israel or of the sojourners who sojourn among you, who offer an ascending offering or slaughtering, and does not bring it to the door of the tent of appointment to do it to Yahweh, that man shall be cut off from among his people. So we have now, with the construction of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and the establishment and inauguration of the Levitical priesthood, we have one center of worship. We have one priesthood, one single altar, one central house of the manifested presence of the Creator. We have one set of rules and protocols of approaching for everybody. Whereas in times past, as we will read later on, as you continue to read throughout the scriptures, and the settling of Israel in the land of Canaan, every man did what was right in his own eyes. You will read the story about how men from the tribe of Dan came and usurped a so-called priest, a Levitical priest, had set up an altar and an idol, and they came and usurped that, took it from him, moved him and his altar and idol to another location. People were freelancing their efforts to worship, whether it was to an idol god or to Yahweh, mixed in with the philosophies and religious mechanics of those that they adopted from around them. Yah is saying here, one, just one. There's one way to approach me, one place to approach me, one system, if you will, to approach me. There's only one, and using modern terminology here that we may grab onto a little bit better, there's only one denomination. There are no competing denominations. In today's religious economy, there are many thousands of variations. So it is our American way to compete in this same religious arena. We have altars that are set up everywhere. Well, they're not in the public square, they're within the buildings. Some denominations have, tables up front with their religious paraphernalia demonstrated on it. Others had all their symbols on the walls. It's the glass stained glass windows with images projected. Some, like in the Catholic Church, they have the images and so forth. Everybody has their own system, their own atmosphere as they create it, whether it's very iconic or liturgical or even now modern with light shows and all of those things. What is the effort here? The effort is to try to connect with the Most High according to whatever imaginative means that man has come up with. And Yah is still saying to us, one, just one. Well, Barry, you saying that we need to go back to temple worship and Judaism. Temple worship, as is prescribed in Scripture, is closely demonstrated in the aspects of Judaism, but they're not necessarily one and the same any more than Christianity is, or even Hebraic roots is, or any other version might be. It's its own certain identity. In the day when Messiah Yeshua returns to this earth and sets up his kingdom, temple worship will be the means by which we worship the Most High. Men will come from all the nations, saying to one another, "Come, let us go up to Jerusalem, to Mount Zion, for the word of Yah is proceeding from Jerusalem." So Yeshua will be proclaiming the word. Those that he has administered and entrusted the word to will be demonstrating and correcting and moving in the word, teaching the word is the word I'm looking for. And men will come from everywhere to learn how to worship the Most High. We will not be building our own altars and our own tabernacles in other lands. Yah even goes so far to say here, as he says, slaughtering in the open field. Open field here in verse number 5 is an understanding that man prefers to worship without boundaries. Don't fence me in. I want to be free to express my worship my way to Yah as I imagine him. What happens when we have all of these varieties of altars and protocols? Each altar reveals Yeshua as we see him. And so we have, with every different altar and every variety of expressions of worship, a redefining of who he is. It may be accurate at points and not at others, or we may miss him altogether. Who is the Yeshua that we are proclaiming? Is he the genuine, actual one, Echad? Or is he uniquely different than the Father and somehow separate from the Father and with a different take on the Father's word that kind of softens the blow of what the Father may require? If this is the Yeshua that you're proclaiming, go back to the scriptures and read again. Yeshua and the Father are Echad, they are one, they're unity of one. They say the exact same thing, verbatim, word for word, letter for letter, the exact same thing. There is absolute no difference in their message or in their purpose. Then we have the competing of altars. Look at my altar. It's better than your altar. You need to come to where my altar is because we're the best. And we do it this way as opposed to doing it that way. Yah's not looking for competition within his body. He's looking for unity of heart and purpose according to what his word declares. It's hard for us to accept this because we don't want to be confined and restricted. We want to be expressive and demonstrative according to our own heart. And God is saying to us, I want you to find me. I want you to see my face, not your face on my face. I want you to know me, because in knowing me, you will see you, and we can deal with the real you. One quick verse, Zechariah chapter 14, verse 9. And Yahweh shall be sovereign over all of the earth, and in that day they shall be one Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, and his name one. May that day be reflected now in our day. And we will see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.